Good evening, campers, dreamers, and babysitters, and welcome to our raw reaction review for The Creep Tapes, Season 2. Exploring a collection of videotapes from a serial killer who hires victims under false pretenses to film him, each episode featuring a new victim. Well, we are back with good old Peach Fuzz with The Creep Tapes Season 2. I was very much looking forward to this, Luke. I can say with full certainty that you were as well. And this was definitely a pleasant surprise, I would say, last year with season one. This was something that was kind of a risk. We didn't know what that was going to turn out to be like when you take something like Creep and turn it into a, I guess, anthology series or kind of like a little snapshot series like they did here. But it actually worked out for, I think I can safely say for both of us, for the better.
1,000%. Like, we both enjoyed the Creep series, the actual films themselves, and then coming out with the Creep tapes where it is more of an anthology route. We were excited about, didn't know what to expect. We had, a few years off of the Creep franchise, and then I think we always talked about it in our review for the season one, where it's like that intro where you see all the VHSs and you're kind of combing through them and you're like, this series has unlimited potential. You can really go anywhere. You can do anything because they're just these anthology episodes. You have a beginning and the end, usually, within that first 24 minutes, and that's it. And then you move on to the next thing. And I'll say season two, highly anticipated. That first season was a little bit of a question mark. We didn't know really what to expect, but being such a bright spot coming out of season one, and now we're here a year again. And season two, I gotta say, even though I'm gonna spoil the ending of this review, I highly enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, no, season two picks up right where season one basically left off with, as far as just the energy, the beats. And I gotta say, the thing that I was kind of worried about going into this more than anything was, is this going to do anything new? Is this going to have any gas left in the tank? Or are we literally just going to be watching, our killer here, Peach Fuzz, just harass a different person each videotape, which that's exactly what it is. But I'm happy to say that they find so many interesting little avenues. And in this one, honestly, I really think for a while they're hinting at some pretty deep, dark stuff with our character as far as where he's sitting and where we could potentially see the future of the Creep franchise heading, as far as maybe like a culmination or that alleged third film that's been talked about for a while.
Yeah, I know that was a month ago. Maybe they talked about Creep 3. Maybe they're still interested in doing an actual film, but right now they're pretty happy with doing these Creep tapes because you can just kind of get these really digestible stories out. And that's what Creep tapes certainly is. There's 6 episodes in this season, just like in season one, and taking that page out of that first season where we go with a different person each episode. And they have such a variety pack of things that you really go through in this, and that's what I love. That first season, we talk about the bird watching episode and just how unique that is. It seems like you don't really do too much in that episode, but there's so much fun to be had in that episode because there's such a handle on this character and just how they approach the Peach Fuzz aspect of it, as well as just Mark, or whatever you want to call him, and how he's just this weird, off the beaten path kind of guy, and how he interacts with these people. And I love all 6 episodes here. I think, I put them in order from my most favorite to least favorite just because I wanted some kind of order, but I really enjoy everything that this season has to offer because it really just shows the potential of the franchise and really how this could be endless. They could really take this as far as they want to go because you can have an endless amount of stories. And this one, you get something different for the most part in each episode here. You really do harness the fun, especially his character being a big horror fan, and you get to pick out some familiar beats and really notable franchise films that he actually verbalizes when we're in the episode themselves. And episode 3 for me is one of my favorites, and I was really excited to see how they set that up with the characters themselves and just the chemistry that those two have. That's Robert Longstreet is in episode 3, and that one just so much fun.
Yeah, it's a really fun episode, and I think for a lot of, especially modern horror audiences, it'll be exciting just to see how they play with what they play with in that. But for me, man, I think like episode 2, I've been saying it with you off air for a little bit now that episode 2 might be my favorite of this one. Similarly, like last season, I think episode 2 is my favorite of last season. But they're all really solid. They're really the one that I can say probably bugs me the most, and the one that I could say I can admit I was probably the least satisfied with was probably the last episode, which I know that's going to sting for some people. But I still think there's a lot of good stuff in there. It just doesn't necessarily feel like there was a culmination of anything in that episode. It almost feels like we took a detour and that was it. It's like we need, like, I think a few more tapes, which I imagine, hopefully, if this does well, because that's something I want to get into briefly, we'll be getting a season 3, and I could see this being more of a, digestible kind of watch as you watch all 3 seasons back to back, and you don't have to wait a year. Hopefully that's all we have to wait for a potential follow-up to some of the great legwork they did with this season.
And when you kind of talk about episode 6 for season 2 and going back to season 1, where these are so episodic, where there's a beginning and an end to all these, and it just is really digestible for that 23 minutes that you have. Where you look at season 1 and the ending episode there, that episode 6 was just, kind of getting some sort of backstory to this character, and something, it felt different than the other 5 episodes that we had gotten. And I really feel like you could have reshuffled the deck here and just ended with a stronger episode, because none of these are bad. It just is, I think, there are way stronger ones than others, and I think episode 6 does fall as maybe one of the weaker ones. There is a holiday episode in here, which everyone knows I'm a big holiday horror fan, so easily that's going to be my favorite. I love that it's such a timely episode, and that one you could have easily ended on, because I think we're going to be ending this right before the Christmas holiday, so you could have really just ended with a Christmas themed episode and really just had the end there and had a lot of fun with it. But like I said, I enjoyed the entire season. I just think there are some that are stronger than others. Like I put them in order, but again, season 2 absolutely delivers.
I agree. I would have personally, since we're bringing it up, I probably would have had episode 2 be the final episode, because you get that, what happens in episode 2, which it's out now. You can watch it because we're putting this out a week late. We didn't get our screeners until like literally a couple days before season 1 or episode 1 dropped. So forgive us on that. But where that one ends, and no spoilers, it's like that would have been perfect, because, it kind of leads into what I was saying about if they wanted to continue this on with another season or go into Creep 3, it has themes and kind of pointing a direction of like, where is the character of Peach Fuzz at right now as far as being a serial killer and what he's been doing all this time. And, has he gotten too good? Is he getting sloppier? Is he getting older? Like, what might be happening? It's exciting. And it really does, I think, I said it when we did our video with our boy Killjoy Jake, which we'll have linked in the description or on the video somewhere here. It was one of those things where I like the snapshot angle of this series so much that it is going to be kind of odd to transition into a movie. But with the way they're doing this now, if we could just kind of, like I said, make sure that our seasons end, like you said, with episode 6 of season 1 being kind of a very feeling of a strong final moment, where this one, I will say, the final episode has stuff for Creep fans that they're going to love. There's a bunch of stuff there that's great. It just, you'll know what we mean when we say anticlimactic. And I think that's what you're going to need to hang your hat on here. But if they say, hey, we're getting a Creep season 3 here in a couple of weeks, once the season's about to wrap up, that'll make total sense. Maybe it's already shot. Maybe they already have a direction. All I know is season 2 keeps on chugging with Creep, and I really love it. I think it's funny. It's got some genuinely pretty unsettling, disturbing moments, but I just grin ear to ear through all episodes of this. I would put this with like The Chair Company and Happiness and a bunch, or Friendship and stuff like that, as just being like the weird, strange, but hilariously evil kind of, just entertainment.
That awkward humor that Creep is able to encapsulate in its films and in the Creep tapes is where this franchise really excels, and why I think I keep coming back to it. It just is this wide range of hijinks that we get into. We start in one situation at the very beginning, and then by the end of the episode, it's your mouth is on the floor like, wait, how did we get here? I always ask myself every time and going to the Creep tapes, it's like, how exactly did we get here? Because I love how they tackle these episodes with a variation of characters that he is meeting, always starting with that Craigslist ad or whatever it is. It's like so basic, but it is so much fun. This is like we said, 2 episodes have already been out. That episode 1 was hilariously fun
Oh
with
yeah.
David Schmaltz. I mean,
Mhm.
come on, copycat kind of version of himself. There are so many great moments in that. You said episode 2 is another strong one. Just I love that we can sit and have 5 minutes of dialogue between him and his characters without really moving anywhere in the scene. It just is kind of this fun, weird, off the beaten path feeling to it, and then we get into the really dark horror aspects of it. This like I said, season 2 absolutely delivers. I am on board for season 3. I hope we get an announcement for that in the coming weeks because underrated franchise certainly because there's
Oh
just
yeah.
so much fun and there's so much potential and what a handle on this character psychologically and plus the horror is always fun. Sometimes it's intentional, sometimes it just kind of is opportunity for him and I think it all works the best. So I mean season 2 for me is an easy recommend.
Yeah, it's gonna be a high tier, easy recommend for me as well, just because like it's you hit the nail on the head, honestly, at those last couple of words you said there, because like the unpredictable pieces of the Creep Tape season 2, when things start to really fall off the rails for certain episodes, when you really start to get into past the point of no return, really, for some of these characters, it's like, oh, every time it always just works. It's the cringiness, it's the scariness, it's the awkward, disturbing stuff. I mean, I think this is the most slept on TV show that's out right now. Again, it's one of my favorites right now, and I think everybody should be at least giving this a watch if you like things like, I said the Chair Company, any of that kind of awkward, very, very dark humor kind of stuff. You'll really dig this. So definitely check this out. Check out the other 2 Creep films. And yeah, let us know down below, guys. What are you thinking of the Creep tapes? Is this something that you've been keeping up with like us? Or are you planning on checking this whole thing out? Or are you going to binge watch both seasons for the first time once this one concludes? I hope that you'll start sooner than that. But yeah, there's some good stuff in here. Can't wait for you guys to see it. So I guess that's going to wrap us up here. Until next time, I'm Dylan Newell.
And I'm Luke Janesco.
And remember, stay scared.
Do the hard shit, gonna do it live. Cause Splattercast kick it every day they live. Splattercast, gonna smash your ass. 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 Splattercast, gonna smash your ass.